Hey, howdy. So, yeah, I say howdy. I don't know why. I'm not from the South. But I say it. Welcome to the beginning of summer. We have two fans that are now in the window, one pushing air in, one taking air out. We don't have an air conditioner in here, which I foresee being problematic really soon. Yeah. So, hello! Zebracrans, BookForge, and welcome to BookForge Live. Today is Wednesday. Is it the 20th or the 21st? Something like that. Hey, we've got some stuff coming up this Friday. If you are in Erie, hit us up on gallery night. Packet Building is going to be open 7 to 10. I'm here all day anyway because I have to work for a living. So anytime 10 to 10 tomorrow or on Friday, gallery night. Come up, visit, have some coffee. We'll probably have some wine, maybe some snacks or something to munch on. But I would love to see you guys. I'll even sweep the floor, I promise. So that's gallery night this Friday, Packet Building. I know a lot of stuff's going on around town, and there's other galleries to see, but Packet has a bunch of artists in one building. A lot of them will be open, or at least several of them. Packet also has a play going on that night. So let's change the camera. So the name of the play is Crocodile Fever. I have not seen it yet, but I'd like to go see it. Probably not this week, but maybe next week. It's running through July 1st. It looks kind of fun. Looks kind of crazy. If you have not come to a Packet play, you are missing out. So again, if you're in Erie this weekend or next, you might want to consider coming to see a really fun play. All right, so I've done my due diligence in plugging our local theater. And this is the building I'm in. So you can come see the play and then come up and see me. Or come see me and then go see the play. I don't care. So other people that are going to be open, City Gallery, who is also in this building on the ground floor with the storefront facing out. They're going to be open. They have lots of stuff going on. Steve and Lena are incredible people. You should come in, listen to music. They always have wine and snacks. So, yeah, the Packet Building is where you want to be this Friday, 7 to 10. All right, enough of that. Enough plugging. Actually, I'm going to plug the Patreon, this page, here in a little bit. But other than that, enough plugging. So as you can see on the workbench, I've got this late 19th century family Bible that's seen better days. I've stabilized the text block. I've got the boards back on with some inner linen hinges. I'm working on getting the leather on. I glued the leather spine out to an Oxford hollow. And now I'm getting ready to put the leather underneath the boards, or underneath the leather on the boards. So that'll be one thing that we're going to be doing today. I probably won't be doing a lot of talking while I'm doing that. I'm going to be using wheat paste. I made this up yesterday. I already went in between the boards and the leather, and I consolidated both the board and the leather with Cluseal G. It's a leather consolidant. Google it. I should probably do a short video on that. Some things that I have coming up. I know I've been talking about the tool of the day and getting it back on track. As Animal Farm's winding down, I will be able to start doing a lot more fun videos like the bookbinding term of the day, the tool of the day. I have a spine, a vellum spine tutorial coming up that I'm going to put on here. I'm also going to be doing a braille binding, which I'll do on here from start to finish. We're going to be talking about end papers. I've got a cloth video coming up from Dave. I haven't forgotten, I just have not gotten to it. I'm also going to do a video on making wheat paste, wheat starch, and methyl cellulose. And then part of that video will be 50-50 mix. And yeah, so we're going to do an entire adhesive video coming up. Now, I'll probably be in July, but stuff that I'm going to be working on. Another thing that the Bindery is going to be doing is on Monday, we're going to do the first of 3 kids art camps that City Gallery is hosting. And BOOKFORGE is going to have the kids making these cute little drum leaf bindings. And so you got a little breakaway spine, and these are kind of like your kid board books. And what we're going to do is I bought a metric shit ton of these cute little postcards, and the kids will be making this board book with a bunch of different animals. There's, I think, 10 or 20 different animals. Each kid will get 5 because we need to make the course kind of short for the kids. It'll be a simplified version of this, but essentially this is what we're going to be making. It's called a drum leaf binding, and excuse me. I'm also going to have a full tutorial program on the BOOKFORGE website, bookforge.online, on doing a drum leaf binding and different applications for it. I will probably also put a version of it here on Patreon, and we'll kind of walk through that process. So a lot of stuff in the pipeline. Some other stuff that I had mentioned last week, we're working on some 17th century flexible bindings that will get a Cambridge panel treatment to them, the decorations. My apprentice has not been here for the last few weeks, and I'm trying to teach her how to do this, and I can't teach someone who's not here. So that is on hold until she shows up. So let's see. Another shameless plug. BOOKFORGE is actively looking for an apprentice that can be here on a regular basis. This is not picking on my current apprentice. She has some disability issues. We knew about this up front. Her not being here is not within her control. But what I'm finding is I do need someone here. One, it gets awfully lonely out here by myself. 2, I would like to teach someone who actually wants to learn bookbinding and basically take the Bindery over when I decide to retire. I've got probably 10 solid years. It takes 12 to 15 years to master bookbinding, so now would be a really good time to start learning from me and working with me. And so, if you know anybody interested in learning how to become a bookbinder professionally, send them my way. All right, I need to get to work on this family Bible. I'm probably going to switch to an overhead view and maybe to this GoPro if it doesn't crap out on me. I've had issues with the GoPro. I want to thank all my patrons here on Patreon. The proceeds that you're starting to help me generate are going to go towards getting better camera equipment, maybe some decent lighting, and some material for the apprentices. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to start getting to work. If you have questions, put them down in the comments. I'm not actively checking comments, but I do check every once in a while, and even if I check after the stream or you're watching this later, I will answer your questions. Questions, comments, constructive criticisms, whatever you want to put in there. Interact with me. Come on. Talk to me. All right, I'm going to get another bottle of water, and we're going to start work on this. So I think what I'm going to do is switch to there. All right, thank you for indulging. We want to get some fresh water. I'm going through a lot of it. Let's see if we can get the GoPro up and running. Give you a different angle on what I'm working. Tripod broke. Alright. Boom. Alright, so we now have a third camera angle. So you can see at that angle. We'll probably switch between that and the overhead view. Not the most flattering angle for my belly, but we'll get over it. All right, so let's take a look at this. So I've glued the spine out, like I said, to the Oxford hollow, and I will eventually reattach the original spine plate. So here's the original spine plate, and I've stripped away the inner lining, so this had a craft paper lining to it. And the reason I take that out is if I don't, when I re-adhere this to the leather and this paper decides to give, it won't give me a good quality adherence over time. And so what I'll do is I'll reline this spine, and then when we glue it out, I'll go right back over that. And then I'll touch up, I'll darken this up a little bit more and blend it in. And as you can see, this is lighter than this. And the reason that, this was a very light color. So this is what the cathedral calf looked like before it was dyed. So I dyed it out so it was a little bit darker, closer to the original color. And once everything is done, I will blend the leathers together. I want to keep it as seamless as possible. So that'll get darkened up. I'm going to put this away so it doesn't get damaged. It's all beat up. Let's see what's that. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm going to take a piece of acetate, slide it up under that leather. It'll help me tuck it in. Actually, do I need this? I think it'll slide up underneath there without this. Alright. So, let's go back to that. got to be careful not to pull this too much. I don't want to crease the leather, but I do want to get paste in there. Because if the leather soaks it up and the board soaks it up a bit. Now I did put some Cluesail G in there, which should keep it from soaking in too much. Okay, I know that looks like a mess. It's all right. Love me a mess. So again, I want to be careful. I don't want to pull this up so much that I'm creasing it. So I'm going to end up setting this off to the side. Put some Remy on here. That'll help it. I really want to put a bulge here. Alright, we're done with that for a bit. Needs to dry. It is warming up in here. Woo-wee. So I'm going to let that dry for several hours. Probably sometime tonight before I leave, I'll do the other side and then let the whole thing sit under pressure overnight. Yeah, I got to get an air conditioner in here. Holy cow. Yeah, we're sitting at just almost 80 degrees in here. Not happy. Cooking. So, because we've got lots of family Bibles, we do a lot of these. I'm going to turn that over to need to see the family name. So yeah, so I got to clean the spine up. I've already stabilized the spine, but there's going to be some repairs here at the joint that I'm going to end up doing. So I think I'm going to start by cleaning the spine off, get it trimmed up. Let's go ahead and set that over there. So yeah, pretty much the spatula is one of my favorite tools. I use it on just about every book. So like pretty much my spatula and my bone folder for my friends. So I'm going to make a mess again. So this process, you can use wheat paste, you can use methyl cellulose, but primarily what I end up doing is I start by just taking off what I can by hand. Now this originally had a hollow on it, and it's actually pretty intact. I don't want to use this because it's old, it could be acidic. We'll see how easy it comes off, but if it comes off really easy, that means when I put paste on it to readhere, it's fine. It would have caused me some problems in the future. This leather definitely has some red rot to it, so there'll be some consolidation on both sides before I reline it on the back side and definitely on the front side when we're done. Alright, so this is where it becomes boring because I will pick at this for the next half hour or so. Now people, they wonder why what I do is so expensive. And a lot of it has less to do with the materials. Now, I mean, I do have a lot invested in materials and tools, but the amount of time it takes me to do this correctly without damaging the leather further just comes down to time. Time spent, knowledge acquired. You guys are familiar with the Instagram meme. Why is my work so expensive? Because it takes me fucking hours. I should make one of those. But yeah, so this spatula it's a really excellent tool because this is super thin on this end and very flexible, but it's not sharp like a knife. So, and it's rounded, so it allows me to go in, doesn't cause a lot of damage. Now whatever I can't get off with the spatula will end up using wheat paste to cause it to bloom or expand, whatever you want to call it. You can't really see what I'm doing, can you? So let's switch over there. This is actually on here pretty good. I'm impressed. And it's still, paper's still old and brittle, but sometimes this just falls off, and just not as lucky about that today. It didn't go through good. And I started picking up some of the leather. I don't want that. Delaminating the leather is bad. That's why you have to go slow, and you've got to be very careful. Now I could, if I wanted, just slap on some paste onto here and let it do its job. But the more paste you use, the more wet the leather gets, and the more brittle things become. So you want to keep your pasting process down to a minimum. I don't know, it sounds weird to use paste to remove old paper and old glue, but what it does is it wets it, causes it to expand, and reactivate the old high glue, and allows you to lift it easier. See, it's taken off a so I'm going to wait on this area because that started lifting some of the leather. Usually you can find an end. This stuff just doesn't want to give. While you guys are watching this, why don't you type something down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what kind of videos and projects you would like to see. Is there a particular binding structure that you're interested in? I know there was one lady on my YouTube channel who was very interested in the two-needle Ethiopian Coptic style binding, and specifically how the end bands transition from the text block to the boards. So that's one that I think I might, in the near future, do a video on, because when I did my research on it, I found some information on Sharif Afifi's YouTube page, and then I found some on DOS Bookbinding, but they complemented each other, but they didn't. Each of them didn't do the full process that I wanted to see. And my third reference was the Archaeology of Medieval Bookbinding. Excellent source. If you have not bought the book, Google it. It's worth the money. And I just put a hole in this because I'm talking to you and not paying attention. All right. I got to be more careful. I'm going to shut up now. You're working with the old leather like this, it's not uncommon to make small mistakes. The material is already degrading. You're working it with tools. We try and be careful not to do any damage. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take as much of this paper I can off without going as far as I normally would, and then I'm going to wet this down and take it the rest of the way off, because this leather is very brittle. I don't like what I'm seeing when I get down to the red rot. Alright. I think I'm going to switch over to the paste method now. I just don't like what's going on here. So of course then the pieces just fall right off. Nice. Alright, so we'll let that sit for a few minutes, and we'll come back to it. So recently, some folks have bought me some books for the BOOKFORGE library and for the apprentices. I have not forgot about them. We're going to start going through them, and chapter by chapter, I'm not going to read them to you, but I'm going to give you a review of what was in the chapter, anything that pops out as esoteric enough to definitely want to share. Conservation of books, archaeology of medieval bookbinding. I have a whole slew of Suave mechanicals. I have 1 through 4. Just some beautiful, beautiful bookbinding books that we're going to start taking a look at. I also have the 2-book set by Edith Doll. And I think while some of her ideas and philosophies are antiquated, if you're looking to do historical restoration and want to do it the way it was or should be done, she's definitely the way to go. I know a lot of times folks will go and they'll take a flexible binding and they'll put a hollow on it now, and that might be better for the book, not historically accurate, but hey. So sometimes the old way isn't always the better, but it's nice to know the old way and where it fits in history and how it fits in the trade and in the art. So we're going to be going over some of those. So yeah, more stuff coming down the pike. All right, starting to absorb that. I am going to go check and see if anyone has made any comments. And if so, we'll answer them live. And if not, we'll just chive on. So while this is baking, if you will, actually it's the opposite, I'm going to leave you a view of that, and I'll be right back. Alrighty. Hey. No comments as of yet. That's okay.
Talk to me.
I'll let that soak a little bit longer. Alright, so the first Bible that I was working on is also going to get a clamshell box. So if you've never made a clamshell box, there is an excellent worksheet tool out there, and it's put out by the Cornell Conservation Department, and it is titled Clamshell Box Construction. And it is an awesome little worksheet. It gives you all the information you need on the materials, the tools, measuring the dimensions, doing the math to figure out the different tray sizes, and it walks you all the way through the process. And I mean, this is professional, Ivy League level stuff. So if you want to learn how to do it, just Google clamshell box construction. Cornell pops up like the first one, PDF. Maybe I typed in clamshell box construction PDF, but it's one of the first ones that pop up. Excellent resource. I highly recommend it if you've never made boxes. I mean, if you have made boxes, well, you probably don't even need that. So those are for the new people. I think what I'll do is tomorrow I will post this, a link to this document so you can easily access it. Or maybe I'll do that later on today when this is over. All right, what we got going on here? Okay, starting the, I'm going to switch back over to the aerial view. And I will need some of it's coming off. We'll let it go for longer, I guess. oddly enough, any of the residual paste left over on the leather will help consolidate it a bit. I'll still do the consolidation fully with BOOKFOREGE, but one method of consolidating leather is rubbing it down with paste. I think when leather reaches a point where it's got full red rot, you're better off with something like BOOKFOREGE, but it's okay. So I'm going to let this sit for a good 5-10 minutes. I think whatever comes off at that point is what we're going to run with. It doesn't have to be 100% off. I just want to make sure that whatever is left is either consolidated or just gone altogether. How is everybody doing out there? Couple October morning coffee. So I guess I'm gonna cheat. This was the tool of the day, the spatula. I've got several different types of spatulas. So I remember what drawer I put them in. Here's a few of them. When I actually do the tool of the day on the spatula, I'll have some micro spatulas too. So this is, I guess this is kind of a micro spatula. Super thin, flexible. And I got this little guy with a rounded end, and it has a chisel on the other side. And of course, this is the large one that I've been using. And it has chisel on the end. Everything is opposite than in the camera. I'm looking at the screen. All right, so tool of the day. Haha. All right, so while we're waiting for this, and I really don't have a lot more room on my bench. I don't want to make room. I've got a couple books that I need to go through and assess. Get a couple quotes out. Maybe I'll do that in a few minutes. Coffee has a weird aftertaste. Like it's. So he chugs the rest of it down. So I have a monitor, so I'll have to look at this little screen, especially when I do classes. And I think I'm going to unbox it and maybe set it up over there while I'm waiting for this paste to wet out the rest of this lining. I know, not the most exciting thing you were planning on. What is he doing? I don't even know. Okay, box is apparently open. I don't remember where this TV came from. It's been in storage forever. It's heavy as hell. You know, these 85-inch ones these days, they weigh like 3 ounces. And this is an older flat screen. Let's see what we got here. Oh, it's smaller than I thought. I don't think this was a TV from this box. Okay. How do I get it out of here? It's not much bigger than my computer monitor. Oh, it really isn't. That's ridiculous. All right. Has a remote. Wow, I just felt that box. It's like half the weight. All right. Not really what I was thinking. Well, I was thinking if it was wider, it would fit on that rail there. But,
feet aren't in the box?
no. There's no feet or stand or anything in the box. I think this may have been Antonia's parents' old TV. I don't remember this one. I think they got a new one the size of the box and sent it packing. Well, yeah, like seriously, my computer monitor is the size of the actual screen. Okay. I don't think it'll fit on here like I thought. Nope, it won't. Well, there goes that idea. Okay. I'm going to put it back in the box so I can figure something else out, because that ain't going to work. Put the mode in there. Alright, so you never know what you got until you open it up. So much for that idea. Anybody want a 32? Not even 32 inches. What is that? All right. This is still wetting out. All right, so I'm going to stop it from following me. I don't think it's been long enough yet. All right, I'm gonna let that sit just a little longer. So I guess while that's drying, not drying, but getting wet. Alright, so these are the boards for that particular Bible. So we're going to clean these up a little bit. Now, whenever you do work like this, you want the sharpest blade you can get. And so even though this blade is probably pretty new, I broke it off to sharpen it up. And I've covered up my... Or would you like the aerial view? I think the aerial view is better for this. I'll put a new cloth in here to replace this inner hinge. Go away. And then hopefully they'll leave a message. Yeah, if you ever call the bindery, I rarely pick up the phone. A lot of times I'll be in the middle of something and I don't like stopping and answering the phone during a conversation or a live session. Just isn't my style. I'm just taking off pieces of the old that will get in the way of putting on the new, cleaning up. So I've got, you see this old leather sticking out here. That's got to come off. Oh, I don't know if my blade's long enough to do it. Oh, look, it is. So change that out. Surprised the battery hasn't died on the GoPro yet. It's going to go any second now because I just brought it up. If you're wondering what type of knife this is, it's a 30-degree 9mm Alpha. Huge fan of how that goes in. There, now I got a longer blade. It's really bad along that edge. I think I'm going to have to just take it off at a certain point. This is like pure red rot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to save this. I'm going to have to take it all the way up to that bevel. Maybe. See, but it's rot down here. So I'll have to find it later. All right. So they're cleaned up. I've got some lifting and some other stuff to do to them, but I like to get back to cleaning off that spine. There we go. See how nicely that all comes off? I want to do everything possible not to move the faux raised bands. They did use a cord to simulate cords, but they're not attached to anything other than the spine. You don't want to leave globs of paste anywhere. It'll become brittle and give you hardship down the road. There's a little bit of the lining left. That's okay. Get off what you can. You don't want to work it so hard that you ruin the leather. And the goal here is to make sure you have maximum adhesion between the leather and the new lining. I'd like to take a moment to point out there's a huge difference between the type of restoration work a bookbinder does and the restoration conservation work done by actual conservation facility. What I do is kind of a functional restoration. I make decisions and I'm able to do things that someone who is a committed conservationist would not do. So if someone had a book that was super rare, I would probably defer them to someplace else. I'm not saying I'm not skilled. I'm just saying what I do is different than what they do. And I'm aware of that. The other thing you should keep in mind, it's a horrible saying, but more than one way to skin a cat. So as Mark Cochran puts on a lot of his posts, there are other binders doing other things. So there's other ways of getting something done. I'm not claiming that my way is the right way, the only way, the best way. I am continuously reading and learning and watching, adapting, adding, subtracting to my processes. All right, I think I'm going to call this mess good. So there's the clean spine. So I'm going to let it dry. I'll probably put this over a tube so it keeps some of the arc to it, but in the meantime, I'm going to clean this up because I can't stand a messy workbench, and this is filthy. I know a lot of bookbinders are like, oh, why bother cleaning? It's okay, it's your bench. My bench needs to not be cluttered. It's an ADHD thing, and I need the clutter, the visual noise to be gone. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to get rid of this. I need to wash my hands because they're a mess. And then probably get a tube to put this over and we'll move forward. Sorry, speak up.
Huh?
Speak up.
I'm using a paintbrush that's tiny and it's very.
Oh. So I don't want it to dry perfectly flat, and I don't want it to be super curved either, but what I'm going to do is just drape it over the tube, and while it's drying, it'll allow it to have a little bit of curvature to it. Of Of course, the tube wants to roll. I put some reame underneath it to keep it from sticking to the tube. All right, so that's as far as I can go for another couple hours. So I want the paste to set pretty good before I turn it over and play with the other side. The spine is cleaned and underway. That book there, I'll probably start doing some paper repairs on it. But I think as far as on camera, suppose I can take a look at this guy. See if we can. I cannot believe that GoPro's not dead yet. It's close. So I figure we'll use that angle for a minute because I know that battery's going to die. Trim that off. Trains are louder in the summer because we've got the windows open. So I'm going to do some paper repair here. Probably all along that seam. Got a page coming out there. Might just need repaired. Never mind, peeled right off. Alright, so I think I'm going to do the same Hanji repair to this side. So it's starting to crack here, so it's going to give way in time. But it's in pretty good shape. I'm just going to put a strip of Hanji on here to give it some reinforcement. Alright, so let's behind. Well, let's trim these up first, then we'll get the hanji. I'm going to put new cloth on here. So this old cloth will just go away. Told you we were going to lose that one eventually. It's okay. It lasted longer than I thought it was going to. Alright. So I'm going to go get some hanji. And I'll be right back. Hanji is a highly fibrous Korean mulberry paper, and it is excellent for paper repairs and strengthening joints and anything of that like. Lots of water. All right. Can you see what I'm doing? Not really. Yeah, a little bit. So if you dampen the mulberry paper, it tears very easy. But don't let it float. You see how easy that tears? But the stuff is really strong the other way. Alright, so I got that piece. Make a piece a little bit bigger for the other side. So in the video series that I'm doing right now on the 1850 family Bible restoration, you're going to see some other types of paper repair where there's chunks of pages missing, and we're going to go in and make those pages whole again. So if you haven't started watching that series, the first video dropped on Monday, and we go through, we do an assessment, remove the spine, and I think we strip the spine lining from it. The next video will continue on with the next 2 or 3 steps. It's going to be a 10-part video series. I'm going to drop a video each week, and I'll actually do it on like the tool of the day or tool of the week or tool of the month, year, whatever I'm on. Yeah, so I'm already editing the video for next week, so all the videos shot. Just a matter now of sitting down, editing it, and getting it out to you guys. Editing takes quite a bit of time. I usually do that on the weekend. So I'm going to need right. Yeah, cutting it, that's what I'm going to use some Rime. Double it up. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. the fibers stick out, and so I'm kind of plucking them out in the direction that I want them to go in. This helps blend the edges of the paper. But you can see, I don't know if you know a lot about paper itself, but tear a piece of copy paper and then take a look at, that looks like a millipede, right? So you got all that fiber sticking out. That's how long the fibers are. So this is methyl cellulose. This is another substance that in an upcoming video I'm going to show you how to make. But it's a man-made, highly fibrous, compound chemical. I'm not sure what exactly to call it, forgive me. But it helps penetrate, acts as a low-weight adhesive, and it's really good for laminating up papers. I put the methyl cellulose on both surfaces because I want to make sure that that paper doesn't soak up all the adhesive and not adhere. And I like to go over it with methyl cellulose. This helps pull it through. And then I take the brush and I pull those fibers out into the page. And I'll come back and I'll eventually trim those ends off once the methyl cellulose dries. So what I'm going to do here, put some pressure on it. A board to hold that in. I'm going to do this side too. I chose a wider piece for this side because of everything that's going on with that area. This will cover a wide variety of sins in the book. But what it'll do is it'll strengthen up that hinge where it's not actually coming apart yet, but I can see where it's breaking and the paper is eventually going to give. Nice thing about this material is that it's almost invisible once it's on and dry. Now the remade that I'm using, it's not going to stick. It's one of the reasons I use it. It's a separation barrier between the board Yep, that's a brick wrapped in book cloth. All right. It's 2:45. My bench is full of stuff drying. Really not sure what else I can show you today without rearranging all this stuff. So I think we're going to call it a day, 15 minutes early. Forgive me. One of these days we'll run over. I think we did run over one day, actually. Again, hey, if you followed along this far, thank you for taking the journey with us. If you're one of our Patreon members, thank you very much. We'll put your funds to use getting some more equipment and material for the apprentices. If you haven't signed up and you've enjoyed any part of this video, please consider joining one of our tiers. The lowest tier is $3, like buying me a cup of coffee once a month, but it accumulates. You get one of the higher tiers, even better. But the funds from this go to getting us better equipment. Right now we're using webcams and a GoPro that doesn't want to work half the time. We'd like to get some better camera equipment and other equipment, materials to help do fun projects. But hey, stay tuned. We got some fun stuff coming down the pike. If you've watched earlier, we'll definitely see you next Wednesday. And this is Edward Kranz, the Honey Badger Bander, signing off.